Sorry for the delay, everybody. I had a technical difficulty. Luckily, my friends were able to help me through it. But sorry for a little lapse in content. You guys know I've been busy. I started my cleaning business and, still in school. So it's just been a little hectic, but I got to keep pumping out the content. I got my buddies at City Mafia, Jake and Mike, and I let them take the floor to introduce themselves, and we'll get started.
I'll start. I'm the talkative one, I guess, right, Mike? So I am Jake Podger. I am with Nickel City Mafia. The big man is to the right of me, maybe the left of you guys, not really sure. But yeah, so anyways, was blessed to join this great YouTube channel, Nickel City Mafia. We do a lot of Bills content. I'm on the, in particular, we do a lot of pregame and postgame shows for the Bills. So that's what we do. But I'll let Mike take it over from here.
You didn't talk much at all.
No, you're the man in charge.
First of all, Sean, thank you so much for bringing us on. We've been wanting to repay you for quite some time now. You were on like 3 or 4 of our shows, and you always bring some great content. So thank you so much. I'm actually repping your channel with your merch right there. Good stuff right there. Very comfortable shirt, by the way. Love it.
Thank you.
So yeah, Jake and I are super excited to be on this with you tonight. And like Jake said, Nickel City Mafia has been, we're about 11 months in. I think at the end of this month, we'll be 11 months into the channel, which is just a little more than I think you have, Sean. And we pretty much do the same content when it comes to Bills. And then we have a fantasy football show throughout the year, which is fantastic if you're into any type of fantasy football. And then, of course, we do some golf stuff. So lots of stuff going on, but it's all about Sean today. Again, thank you, Sean.
Thank you guys always having me on. You guys have great content all around. I haven't watched much of the golf one yet just because I don't know much about it, but I'm definitely going to start watching it and let them know where they could find you.
Oh, so go ahead, Jake.
You can find us on Instagram. I don't think we have a Facebook page just yet. We're on Twitter as well, all Nickel City Mafia. You can find myself. I have my own personal Instagram, just Jake Podger 7. I believe that's what it is. But my actual sports one where Mike, I've been saying this for a while. I'm going to start doing more content on it. It's called 4th and 30. So you can follow me on that. And going to definitely be posting a lot more content, not just about the Bills, a little bit of like just dumb trivia stuff that's just stored up in my brain that no one else has. There's no use for it, but I need to get it out there in the space. So
absolutely. You love all that trivia stuff.
I love it, man.
No one's better. I mean, this is,
I know. Absolutely.
Jake and I, it's an interesting story how I met Jake. Do you mind if I
go ahead.
a couple minutes? So I started the channel on my own. And, Sean, you kind of do a lot of your shows by yourself. I quickly realized that I can't be producing and talking, and because I get distracted, I forget where I was. And I said, you know what, I got to go find somebody who can do this. And I wanted someone from Buffalo, New York. I'm actually here on the West Coast. I grew up in Buffalo.
Where it's nice.
Life has taken me out here to the West Coast. And I said, I got to find someone in Buffalo who's going to do the show with me, who's passionate about the Bills. I got lucky. I put it out on Reddit. I put this like little ad out. I didn't get much response at all. You know what I got? I got one response, but it was actually the perfect response. It was Jake, and it actually wasn't Jake who saw it. It was his buddy who passed it on to Jake. And then Jake and I, the next day, we connected, talked on, I don't know what we used, Discord or something, to do a video chat. And here we are. And I'm super appreciative of Jake. He just, like you said, he knows all those stats. He knows all that trivia stuff. So if you got a question for him, throw it his way. He loves it.
I love it. Yes. Yeah. Shout out to my buddy Timmy for finding the that Reddit post, Mike. He was the one who put me in touch. So if it wasn't for him, who knows? But yeah, it's a pleasure. Sean, thank you for having us on, man. This is great.
Of course. I'm sorry it took so long. Like I planned to do a lot more in the off season, but then, losing my job, and then I was already starting this business anyway. I got like wrongfully fired. It was a terrible situation for the better, now, but it was just a lot going on. I didn't get to do as much as I wanted, but as long as we're doing some,
That's right.
And, glad to be with you guys again. Finally bring you onto my channel. I was looking forward to that. And we're going to talk about today some of the news that's been going on with the Bills, signings, drama, typical, Buffalo Bills stuff. And then Mike thought it was a great idea to do some live rounds 1 through 4, right, Mike? Mock drafts.
Yeah, 1 through 4.
And then we'll do like a we'll do like a serious one where like we each pick who you want to focus on in round 1, and then like you'll trade like 50 first round picks for the next, however long to trade up for the number 1 pick or something, just to fool around and see what comes out. But it's without further ado, get it started. And I think we should start with the Diggs extension. I think that was absolutely amazing just to hear him say, I want to finish out in my career in Buffalo. How many times have you heard people say that? I want to retire a Bill. And somebody of his magnitude, someone who's done so much for this team and who people thought in the beginning he's a diva, who doesn't, he's not going to like Josh Allen because Kirk Cousins is a better quarterback. And, things of that nature that, obviously we're just completely wrong. But Mike, I'll start with you. How do you feel about the Diggs extension?
I absolutely love it. I love that the Bills kind of took care of it quickly. I feel like they didn't drag it on. They saw all that happened with Devontae Adams, all the money he got, all these receivers getting big money. It was obvious that Diggs needed some more as well. And they took care of it quickly. So I love it. I love the fact that he's hopefully he retires a Bill. And yeah, I was super happy that we took care of it without, I don't know. Did you think there was a lot of drama around that? I didn't think so. I mean, I heard some stuff, but it was quickly over. I mean, about a week, maybe a week of drama. That's about it.
It was mainly people on Twitter just like trying to create their own story, thinking Diggs is like mad, but he's talking about, like song lyrics or just like trying to be funny. And he even said, they asked him, oh, so these people think you're like being cryptic on Twitter. And he's like, well, just stay away from Twitter. It's not a good place. So it's like he's doing it purposely. And I was telling my friends this too. They're like, oh, what's Diggs saying? I'm like, he sees all those Mafia freaking out. He sees like the Vikings fans freaking out, and like, all these Dallas fans that when Trayvon said, I want to play with my brother, like they think, oh, he's going to get traded to Dallas. And deep down, he knew that there was already an extension in the works, probably. He's just being funny. But, I don't look too much into those tweets and things because you never really know if what they're talking about. They could be talking about, like something completely that has nothing to do with football. And then people are just going to look at it like, oh, Diggs is mad. He wants to get more money. Yeah, of course he wants money. But just because he didn't get signed today doesn't mean he's not going to get signed tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. So
look what happened. Oh, man, it made my whole entire week. I mean, it was just great news. Great to wake up to. Yeah, I was ecstatic when I saw that. And yeah, I looked into those tweets a little bit too, and I'm like, oh, I don't like this very much. And then I love Trayvon Diggs saying, hey, kind of making his pitch to Stefan, just saying, hey, maybe Dallas, maybe we can link up or something. Josh Allen just tweets back, no. I love that. That was incredible. I think Josh probably knew in his gut too that Stefan would be returning. And I love that he took the liberty to just troll people on Twitter. And I think people got to realize that they can't believe everything they see online, and they can't read too much into things because everything that's put out there is not 100% true. So, and everything that's put out there is not supposed to be taken the way that you think it's supposed to be taken. So I think you just got to let these things play out. And I love too Doug Whaley coming out and saying that we wouldn't have enough money to re-sign Stefan Diggs. And here we go, big baller being the next day. There it is, right in the news. So shout out to that. I mean, that's just great. I'm not a big Doug Whaley guy. I think he's very arrogant. Was not a huge fan of him in Buffalo, but just same. And I love Brandon Beane. That guy is he's unbelievable with what he does. So it was amazing that we got it done, and I'm fired up about it, man.
I'm glad you brought up that Doug Whaley situation because Sal Carpaccio was like, yeah, well, all you guys coming after Doug Whaley, like he didn't mean it like this. He meant it this way. I'm like, his exact words were, Buffalo will not have enough money to pay a receiver of his caliber in this kind of market. They may have to part ways with him. And he was like trying to defend that. I'm like, look, this is his exact words, Sal. Like here's his paragraph with quotations in it. Mm-hmm. I didn't get an answer, of course, but I do got to tell you guys something funny off track beforehand. Andre Roberts, ex-Buffalo Bill.
Yeah.
On April 1st, he posted a story about him kick returning or something. So I was like, I'm just going to talk shit to him and see what happens.
Wow.
I said, if you caught that ball in the Raiders game, you guys would have made it to the playoffs. A week later, yesterday, he actually responded.
Really?
And was let me read it to you. completely shocked. It's like this dude a week later has nothing better to do than to like look at haters in his inbox and answer. But okay, he said, where is it?
I'm sure he doesn't get a lot either, so it was probably easy for him.
Yeah, it was so funny. I just couldn't believe it. He said, "It's dumb if you think that's the reason we didn't make the playoffs. Go watch the game and see all the mistakes all the way to the last timeout. If you don't rewatch it, don't make dumb comments. Winky face."
Wow.
I thought it was hilarious because it's
Dang.
like some millionaire sitting in his house right now, like with his arms crossed on his couch, like this loser from upstate New York was talking shit on me like a week ago.
Boy.
I was like, because at first I was watching the Nats game because I'm a Nationals fan, and
Hey, big win today.
yeah, finally, it was
Yeah.
nice. My phone was sitting on the side of me, it was charging out. Look, I'm like, who the heck is D-Rob? Like, what's this big paragraph? I was like, wait, no way, I can't believe he actually answered. But I was like in tears, thinking it was so funny that like this millionaire football player got offended by what I said to him and was like, it wasn't just me, it was the whole team. They did this and they didn't call timeout and this. I was like, oh, okay.
That's hilarious. Hey, shout out to Andre Roberts, though. Probably the highest player ever drafted from the Citadel, drafted in the third round. I mean,
I did tell him we missed him, though. I was like, yeah, well, I'm surprised you even answered, but we missed you in Buffalo. Just say
I love it. You kind of pulled back a little bit there.
Yeah, because I didn't, you don't think these people will answer.
Yeah.
Like I've messaged, Harrison Phillips like 50 times. I messaged Josh Allen a bunch of times. And I even told him one day, I was like, it would just like be the best thing in my whole entire life if you just said, hey, or like just liked my thing.
Yeah.
But like Ike Bacher, when he got hurt, I told you guys, I said, I hope you have a speedy recovery. We're going to miss you. He said, thank you. And then when he got re-signed, I was like, glad to have you back. I can't wait to see you on the field. Then he liked it and said, said response again. So some of them answer, but I wasn't expecting like when you talk shit to someone, they would respond. Cause I don't know. I know we got off track, but I just thought that was hilarious.
I love it, dude. That is awesome.
I'm going to keep that forever in a screenshot.
I wonder if they're big enough, if they had their own PR person working their social media, right? But I know some of them do it, but you have to wonder.
Ben Roethlisberger did.
Yeah, you have a PR guy behind the scenes or girl working your social media, making sure that it sounds right. But it sounds like that was
or they might just, I can't answer any DMs. I know Jordan Phillips for a time, you couldn't comment on his stories. Zach Moss does it too. Mm-hmm. Like you can't comment on the story, you can't like send them DMs. So, some people might just do that. So there's no people, saying terrible things to them or what have you. But yeah, sorry about getting off track, but I thought that was really fun.
It was great.
That's all part of it, man. This is awesome. I love that's a great story. I mean, that's it
really is
awesome. Yeah.
I might talk crap to people more often and see if they respond.
Yeah. See what you get back,
Yeah. But so the next one, we'll just bring up this now just to get it out of the way. But I'm kind of upset in a way because Diggs got his contract. We signed Von Miller to a big contract. And then here comes Rachel Bush.
Oh, yeah.
Pocket watching. And Jordan Poyer, like I love Jordan Poyer. I got his autograph. He's one of my favorite players. But it's just a little bit upsetting. Like you see your friends getting big deals and their first mindset is to, my husband deserves this. He's thinking it too if she's responding. Mm-hmm. But it's like not even a day after the Diggs signing is, my husband deserves this. He did this. He's the best safety in the league, which he is. But like, why can't you just be happy for your teammates, celebrate for a bit, and just know that you're going to get a contract because he will. And if we don't sign him, then I'll be kind of like, wow, that's a really dumb move. But, people are like, he's 31, it's kind of old for a safety. I don't think so at all. I think he's still playing at a high level.
He's an all-pro.
Just like Von Miller. Yeah, he's all-pro. So I definitely think he deserves a contract. But the other thing is not everybody can get paid at the same exact time. So we got to trust our front office. Rachel Bush needs to trust the front office. Mm-hmm. And just know that Jordan Poyer is going to get a contract. We still got to sign Ed Oliver. We still got to sign Knox. We still got to do all these little things here and there that we have to figure out money with. And, cap hit this, and then signing bonus to this guy to make it, free up cap space. So I don't know. I was just kind of like, that's a little weird. As soon as someone gets a big deal, you start complaining about your husband, and then, you know what I mean? But how do you guys feel about all the drama with Rachel and, with the Jordan Poyer situation? Jake, you can go first this time.
Yeah, I think, she has a right to obviously voice her opinion and stuff. She's been around the game long enough. But at the same time, too, like, it could buy, Bills Mafia doesn't like that. I know they don't like it one bit, especially if you have a player's wives talking about it and thinking that they know everything and stuff like that. And, and I think Jordan Poyer has a right to feel the way he does, if that is how he feels. Obviously the guy's an all-pro. He's been underrated his entire career, never truly given the respect he deserves.
Right.
But what does he do? 10 million or something like that this year?
He's got 10 million.
10
yeah. So that's, that's a hefty amount. I totally get wanting to lock him up for another maybe 2 to 3 years. I think that makes sense. I think that's his window as well. He's still playing at a tremendously high level. Yes, he's probably the best, if not the best safety in the league. He's one of the best safeties in the league. And I would love to keep him if we can. You got to find the space somewhere. I know we just converted some space with Ryan Bates because we made his thing like a signing bonus or something like that. So we gained some more cap room, which is great.
Right.
Yeah, which is awesome. So I would love to keep him if we can. I don't know if that's in the future or not. I do have a feeling on draft day we're going to move up. Maybe we package Tremaine Edmonds. So there is a chance that maybe we do something like that. Yeah, I have
that's going to happen.
We can talk about that too.
I have a couple inklings about that, so it could be interesting. So yeah, keep your eyes glued to the television on draft day, especially day one. It's going to be a big one.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, it's. I don't think I'm going to quote what my cousin said. So he said, I don't think negotiating with Brandon Beane over Twitter is the best way to approach it. So
no,
I agree with that.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jake. Because he deserves, a lot of money, obviously, and of course, just like I always compare us normal people to pros in a way because, Mike's the CEO of his company. And, he wants this much money because his company's been, top of, whatever brand they are for years, and he deserves more money. So, or like Jake's a supervisor at his, business, and, he deserves more money because he's making all these people great and they're successful. So we can understand that too. But I guess in the football sense, you got to know, like, there's only so much to go around at the exact moment in time. Mm-hmm. So, like, you just signed Diggs. Now they want to sign Jordan Poyer, a massive one. Like, just give him a couple days to, like, talk it over.
And by the way, we just signed Von Miller. So, yeah.
It's like everybody knows that we want Jordan Poyer to stay. Rachel knows that. It's just like, I don't know. To me, like, I just don't like the pocket watching thing because it's like, it's kind of like disrespectful in my eyes. Like, not jealousy. I'm not saying he's jealous. It's just like, be excited for Stephon, and then just know that you're gonna get what you deserve. I'm not saying it's his words, but like, if she's saying it, it's like the Mahomes and Brittany thing. Mm-hmm. He's not stopping her. So, you know what I mean? So it's like but like you said, he has the right to want that, and she has the right to say it. And I agree. And people shouldn't come at her for thinking that because it's her husband. And I would do the same thing for my wife, and she would do the same for me. So I agree with that, but it's just people try to create narratives like, oh, someone was like, oh, if the Bills don't appreciate him, other teams will. Miami's a nice place to live in the summer, and I was just like, dude, why are you like trying to create? And he's like messaging this to Rachel, and I'm like, why are you trying to create false narratives? He's like, what narrative did I say? I said I understand his value to the Buffalo Bills. I said, no, you're trying to say like we don't care if he's on the team or not, and that other teams would value him more than we do. So obviously Brandon Beane doesn't look at that stuff, and Poyer doesn't listen to other people either, but it's just annoying to hear that kind of thing. But Mike, what's your thought on it?
Yeah. So unless she was his agent, which she isn't, keep it. Okay. You said you like to compare our jobs to the professionals. Mm-hmm. All right. So at my job, if I felt I needed a raise and my wife started putting it on blast out there, oh my God, it'd be embarrassing. My executives would talk to me like, what's going on? I'm like, I mean, keep it in-house is all I'm saying. And we love Poyer. We talk about him all the time. We got the best duo safeties in the league, and he's going to get his money. He obviously, I can understand. They want to lock him down. You want to have that security blanket. I would too, but keep it in house. I mean, I'm sure Poyer can go have those conversations and not have his wife be speaking for him, even if I know she puts it out on social media. But again, like Sean, if your wife puts something out there on social media, or Jake, about your job, you'd be like, honey, let me take care of
Reel
this
it in,
because you're actually going to hurt me a little bit here. So that's my thought. That's my only thought. Other than what you guys said, I totally agree.
Absolutely. And I'm not saying anything bad about JP. Like I said, I got his autograph. I spent money to get, if I didn't like him, I wouldn't spend money to get his autograph. And, like you guys said, best duo in the league, top safety in the league. Want to see him retire a bill too. But, it's just so people try to create so much drama. Like, getting off topic with baseball, we hit 5 Mets players in the last 3 games.
Yeah.
But the difference is you could tell, especially when you played ball, intent and accidental.
Mm-hmm.
So we had this one guy, he throws like 100 miles an hour, but his ball tails like you wouldn't even believe. He's a right-hander. He hit Pete Alonso in the shoulder, then bounced and hit him in the face. So after the first day, we hit 3 people. One of them, which the guy moved his back foot forward like a foot to get hit with the ball on purpose on a slider. So I don't really count that one. But all over social media, they're saying how terrible of people we are, and like we're a terrible organization. We're trying to hurt these people when, we have a bunch of 21-year-olds on the team. We're rebuilding. We won the World Series in 19. Yeah. We got people from AAA, AA that are trying to make the team right now. And they're trying to pitch inside and show their coaches, oh, this is what I can do. And they're missing and hitting people. And, it's part of the game, unfortunately, but like all these narratives, like, oh, the Nationals are a terrible organization. The league needs to do something about this. Like what everyone needs to go hit them in the head. And it's like, so you're complaining about us hitting you and then you want us to get hit by other pitchers. Like, I don't know. Social media, it's a bad place sometimes. So I try to.
Sports drama has overtook anything in Hollywood is irrelevant now. Sports drama is king. I mean, it is right there. I mean, it's just it's crazy. Yeah.
Can I add one more thing about Poyer?
Yeah.
All right. So a little story here, a nice story. Just shows you how nice he and his wife are. My son has a delivery business in Buffalo, and they deliver furniture. So he had an order to go to Jordan Poyer's house. What? And he told me the day before, Dad, I'm going to Jordan Poyer's house. I should have given my son a little advice and said, hey, all right, clean up a little bit. Because he does delivery, right? So he just rolls out of bed and goes to work. But he went to his house and he's like, hey, really love what you do for the Bills. Can I get your autograph? He tried to run out to his car and he didn't have any paper. He comes in, and I think he brought in, my son's into Frisbee golf. So he finds this Frisbee golf disc in the car and he brings it in to have Poyer sign it. And Jordan's like, we're gonna get you set up with something a little better. His wife goes into to the back office, brings a bag full of things. One of them was a mini helmet signed by Jordan, and that's what my son took. He had some other things that they were like, choose whatever you want. And then he took a picture with them, and my son said he was just so nice. It was he said he was so stressed out because he takes these big furniture pieces downstairs or upstairs, and you have to be careful not to dink the walls or anything like that. But he said Poyer was super cool, and he has that. We showed that picture on one of our shows. It was super cool. Just a nice guy, and his wife, extremely nice as well. So
that's awesome. See, it's good to hear things like that because people just look at how vocal she is on Twitter, and they don't know behind this because like even me on Twitter. When I made my account for my YouTube channel, I was like, I'm not going to be the guy that's going to troll everybody and talk shit and, be funny. But then after like a few months and I kept seeing like all the toxicity on there, I was like, I got to do it. I
I love it.
Got a comment from Big Al here. Mike, you need to get some Nickel City Mafia t-shirts. People will buy them.
I love it.
Big Al is Jake's dad.
Yeah.
And yes, Big Al, I've been working with someone at our office. She's extremely busy and she's coming up with some designs. So we're working on that. Absolutely.
Awesome. Gonna have some merch soon. I'll have to buy one. Jake, I still have extra because those people never reached out to me again.
Sign me up. I'm in.
So after we get off live here, I'll get your address, and as soon as I get a chance to go to the post office, I'll send it up to you.
That sounds good, man. I'm all in.
Awesome.
I like it.
Oh, Mike, I meant to ask. Well, not really ask, but I'm sure they gave him a nice little tip for bringing that furniture too.
You know what? I didn't ask that, but I'm sure. And again,
Yeah.
and
here's $10,000.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice?
That
Well, I will say this: he was actually working for someone else. Now he has his own business, so who knows?
Awesome.
Maybe. But it was really the wife that said, and his name's Brandon. He's like, Brandon, we're gonna give you something a little nicer than your Frisbee disc sign. So she was the one who went in and got something, and he took a picture with him. So
that's
super
cool.
nice family.
That is awesome.
Glad you told that story. Actually, that's really cool.
Yeah, thanks.
And then Von Miller signing. I think if we had him last year, it would have been a world of difference.
13 seconds wouldn't be 13 seconds. We wouldn't be talking about that now. I believe.
Yeah, we'd still be drunk in Buffalo after the parade.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I was talking to before we get into Von, I was like, dude, imagine if the Bills won the Super Bowl. Like people from like the Buffalo area, Pennsylvania, like all those places surrounding, even if they're not a Bills fan, they just go to Buffalo because it's not going to be a lame parade like Kansas City. Just for an hour, you drive through the city on like a float. It'd just be like complete shutdown party. Just mayhem in the city for who knows how long it lasts for.
Months.
So I was like, dude, if it happens, we gotta the minute they win, drive there before it gets too crazy. Get a hotel for like a month, just rent it out, and then just go, or just sleep in our car for a month and just go take a shower some random place and then go crazy.
Yeah,
but I just couldn't imagine bringing Von Miller. Though they were talking bad about the contract. Like I have some friends that are Rams fans that you could take him for that much, 30, about to be 33 years old. He is 33 now. But I was like, well, actually it's the 3-year contract, technically 52 guaranteed. But then if he plays 6 years, then he'll get 120. He might play 6 years, but I mean, it'd be really hard. But, if you can get 3 good years out of Von, 4 maybe, it's a steal, especially if you win a World Series. If you win a Super Bowl, if you even win one, that contract's worth it, in my opinion, because he's going to be a big factor to this team, not only for his skill, but for also with Epineza and Boogie Basham and Groot. We have a young defensive line. Even Ed Oliver, you can help Ed Oliver too. And these guys are going to be our core for the long future, hopefully. And have someone like Von Miller teach him all that he knows is going to pay dividends from just getting him as a player. So, but your dad also said, before we get to your guys' response, do you think we should sign Gilmore? And then the Diggs contract just freed up some money. I would think that's a great idea. I don't know if he would want to come back because he kind of had like some bad blood near the end of his time with Buffalo and kind of like made it a little weird in my opinion. So it'd be nice to have a guy like him, a veteran, when Trey's still, he won't really be 100% for maybe at all next year, because Saquon's first year back from the ACL, he had to take some plays off because his knee was swell up, and it's just because especially at corner, you're stopping on a dime so much and you're twerking your body, so we can't really suspect Trey to be Trey White next year. So it'd be nice to have a guy like Gilmore, in my opinion. But you guys could talk about Gilmore first if you want, and then we'll go back to Von. So, Mike, if you want to say what you think about Stephon.
Yeah, I mean, obviously this is the position I'm most worried about, right? We lost Levi, and we probably will talk about that a little bit later. But we lost Levi, and you're absolutely right. We don't know what version of Trey we're going to get and when he's going to get back to the form that we're used to. And I'm not sold on Dane Jackson and all the other young guys that we have right now. I mean, we're in it to win it right now, and that is our weak link, in my opinion. So if we had an opportunity, absolutely, I'd sign him. And again, I don't know what he's asking. And Jake, I'm actually a little surprised because I think you did something fall through, because I feel like you told me he was locked in for somebody.
I totally misspoke on that, Mike. I thought for sure he was going to the Raiders. There were some rumors that he was going to sign with Las Vegas, and he didn't end up signing. So he is still on the free agent wire there. And I meant to text you right after I saw that, because I'm like, man, he's still available. So
yeah,
no, he's still out there.
Sean, for me, yes, if we could get him, absolutely.
Yeah, I would love that. How about you, Jake?
I personally, I think I'd rather have Joe Hayden because he would take a smaller deal. And this guy is coming off. I mean, he was injured last year, but he played at an all-pro level the year before that. And I think he would sign for a relatively low contract, and we can get 1 to 2 good years out of him. And he's a good veteran presence guy. So I would personally rather go that route. I think there's still that sour taste in my mouth as a Bills fan on how Stephon Gilmore left. Sort of chasing the paycheck and whatnot. And tremendous player. I think he really is, that guy. Even played well in Carolina last year. But for the price tag, I feel like we can draft someone and then maybe sign a guy like Joe Hayden for a smaller deal and, bring a veteran presence in like that instead. I think that's the better way to go.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, it definitely is that one position that, I mean, that and linebacker, but I mean, it would have been, I was thinking like, it'd be awesome to sign Bobby Wagner. But then I was thinking they would never do that because if you do 3 linebackers with the Bills, Teron Johnson basically was a waste of making a contract because that's why we run the defense we run was because we got TJ.
Mm-hmm.
So unless they were thinking about trading Edmonds, and I know you mentioned that, I just don't think they're ready to move on from him.
Yeah,
but we can talk about that after. But Jake, why don't you start about Von Miller, how you felt about the signing? And, I'm sure all of us were just absolutely through the moon about it. But let me know, what are your thoughts about it? And do you think it's going to be the last thing we need to get over the hump?
Oh, it's absolutely the last thing we need to get over the hump. I know we talked about needing a corner, but I feel like you can get away without having a tremendous, set of cornerbacks, even with Trey being injured. I mean, he's still feasible, right? I think there's a timetable with him too. They're thinking maybe like October, he'll be really ready to go. So that does worry me a touch, but I'll tell you this, if you're getting to the quarterback, you don't have to worry about playing defensive back. You guys are going to get those easy tipped interceptions then. So that's what we're missing right now. When I heard the news, I was beside myself. I couldn't believe it. I wanted to run. I was telling Mike this. I was in a Ruth Chris steakhouse and there's no signal at all on my phone. And I had heard the news. One of my buddies was like outside. He walked back in. We were on a work trip and he comes in. He's like, "You're never going to believe this." And I'm like, "What? No way." I could not believe it. So I had to walk outside and my phone was just blowing up with text messages from everyone that I knew saying, "We got Von Miller. I can't believe it." And then some people complaining about the deal because they didn't know what the guaranteed money was. Yeah. But I was like, wow, that's the last person I ever expected to get. I had put it out there that maybe I wanted to trade for like the Neil Hunter or someone like that. But to see Von Miller actually make the choice to leave sunny, pretty LA to come to Buffalo and win a Super Bowl. And I don't know if you guys caught the conversation he had with his dad on the phone, but the first team his dad said was Buffalo. And he calls Josh Allen the Creature, which I love that. That's amazing. I mean, it's a great nickname, So just phenomenal, man. I am so pumped up. I don't care about the money. I wouldn't even care if it was 6 years, 124 or 120 million guaranteed. I don't care. Yeah. He's worth it. If we win a Super Bowl, which we will this year, life's good. Life's good.
Before you go, Mike, you remember, you guys remember Bootsy, that my buddy that I did that one live with, a Steelers fan.
Okay.
When it happened, he called me and this dude was like screaming at the top of his lungs, excited and freaking out. And I was like, man, we have like $2. I was like, there's no way we just signed Von Miller to 6 years, 120 million. I was like, I'm not going to get excited until it's like even like 100%. I got to see it from like 50 different people. I got to see him say it,
Yeah.
And then like 2 hours later, he posted a video saying, "Oh, I'm coming to Bills Mafia." I was just like how? Like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, I'm super happy. Like, my smile was all the way up to my forehead, but I was just like, this. How does this make sense? Like, how do you go about? I guess that's why I'm not a GM, because I don't know how that works. But just the fact that we had like nothing in our but nothing to spend. And then all of a sudden it's like $120 million contract to Von Miller. I was like,
yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, I'm not complaining. No. Unless there's something that we just don't get it. And then like in like 5 years from now, we're just going to be like the most like capped hit team in the entire universe because it's like backtracking everything. And then we're going to go in a big hole for the next decade, which I hope doesn't happen. But yeah, I don't think it will, because it seems like Brandon Beane obviously knows what he's doing. And, but Yeah, that was just an awesome signing, and it was just funny. He was more excited than I was because I didn't believe it.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Why aren't you happy right now?" I'm like screaming everywhere, and I'm like, "Dude, I just don't see it. I just can't believe it, man." So as soon as I know for sure, then I'll be happy.
Is that the Bills effect? You're always just a little skeptical before
Yeah.
believing really anything
Yeah.
you're told? Because it's just crazy, man. Even when, like, you go back to some of our bigger signings, like Mario Williams, that was probably the last really big signing we had. But before that, when we made the trade for when we signed T.O., I was like, no way is T.O. coming to Buffalo. And I remember that moment, and that was crazy.
He
So
loved
you just think
Buffalo.
about these different moments in Bills history. You don't believe it at first because you're just, I don't know, like it's something ingrained inside of you to just think the worst all the time. And then when it really happens, it's just amazing. So I hope it's, I hope it's a great, I think it's going to work out well. And I hope it's a great signing. I know it's a great signing.
Yeah.
See, I'm still saying I hope.
Yeah.
It's just something that's, it's just ingrained in me. But no, I think it's the right move for sure. What about you, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, I can see why you were hesitant a little bit. I mean, it wasn't a big signing, but we had J.D. McKissick that we thought we had signed, and he just, says, nope, I'm going to stay, right? So that everyone got excited for nothing, but this is much bigger. And I know I was watching some of your shows, Sean. I know you were with me in that. I think we were both hoping to get Chandler Jones first. That was our target.
Yeah.
I heard you say that a couple times. And when I was like, what's going on? The Bills aren't making any moves. And then I don't know if Chandler was announced. Yes, I think he was announced before Von Miller. So I'm like, oh,
yeah, it was like a day or two.
Yeah. And then about Von Miller, and again, I'm like, Jake, I get a text message because I think it was on my way home when I heard the news. And I had to ask guy, are you kidding me? Because they like to joke around with me a lot. And he's like, no, I wouldn't lie to you. I'm like, this is real. And I went on there and I'm like, absolutely fantastic. I mean, just like you said, Sean, the leadership he's going to bring for our young guys on that line. Oh man. And I read somebody where it's like, yes, we're going to have to change from that rotation, I think, a little bit with this guy. I don't know. I would love to hear your thoughts on that. Because I mean, what was our top guy last year, especially on the edge? What would get about 50% of the snaps, if that? Mm-hmm. Do you think that is what Bond's going to go with? Or are we going to put him in more 60, 70%, maybe certain plays? Like, for instance, that 13 seconds last season, we have a guy like that. He's obviously in on that play, and we probably don't have to be talking about that any longer. But what are you guys' thoughts on that as far as his snap count?
I would, like you said, 60, even 70%. I mean, he is 33, but he was proving he could play at a high level. I would just rather try to stretch him. But if he's down to play 100%, 90%, then I just do whatever he feels comfortable with, because he's gonna, I don't know what his count was like in LA, but I feel like he played quite a good amount. So I mean, I would prefer him to be on the field as much as possible. But it's up to how his body is, really. I mean, if he says, "Oh, I'm fine with 55 or 60," then that the 60% he's in is going to be 150% of his effort. So, how about you, Jake?
I think you're paying a guy that much money. He has to be on the field at least 90% of the snaps. I mean, that is going to be the one guy that is on the field at all times. And rightfully so. I mean, he was still producing at a high level, 9.5 sacks last year. And I think that's just good for the young guys to see too. I think it's going to be good for Greg Rousseau and his development, and even AJ Epinesa and Boogie Basham. And that's if now another theory too I have, and we'll get into this maybe later. AJ Epinesa, maybe a little trade bait there too, potentially.
No, don't say it.
I don't know. But no, I think it's good for the young guys to have a guy like that on the field at all times, constantly being able to, guide them, direct them, tell them where to go, keep them fired up, keep them in the game. He's an energizer. I mean, that's just what he is. So yeah, definitely at least 90% of the snaps for sure.
Yeah, and
we're getting our money's worth, huh?
Oh yeah,
you're playing 100% of the snaps.
That's right. Maybe 105% of the snaps.
I don't care if you just turned 33 years old. Get your butt out there and play.
That's right.
And, the salary cap. What's the salary cap?
It's a myth.
You mentioned it, Sean. It's like we went in negative. We were like, how are we going to have any money to do anything? And look what we did. So
yeah,
I don't know. But one thing about the salary cap, it actually every year they look at it and based on revenue, and I feel they have some new TV contracts coming up, so it could go up. So you could be, Bean could be thinking, yeah, it's going to go up to this over the next few years, and maybe we're not in bad shape at all come 3-4 years from now.
Exactly. We got a good office, so I think we'll be straight for a while,
Yeah.
and hopefully be in a Super Bowl window for a decade, and maybe even longer than that. Like New England was for 20 years. Maybe that could be us. And then
I love it.
It would just be a great time.
That would be so. Let me ask this, because I asked this to Jake on one of our shows, and if we were to win we went all out, right? They're in it to win it. We spent a lot of money, and I was telling Jake, look, if the Bills go all out and we win a Super Bowl, are you okay with that? And let's say we're not competitive in a couple of years. We're not competitive for like 5 years because of the salary cap. And he and I think we're both in agreement. Yeah, if we win a Super Bowl, I'm totally okay with that. It's time to bring a Super Bowl to Buffalo. I'd be perfectly okay. Follow the Rams, what they did, and let's go.
Yeah, 200% agree with you. Like, I'm using baseball as an example again. So I was actually, even though I'm from New York, I've been a Nationals fan since 06 when they started. And because everyone likes the Yankees here, and I was just like, I like something different. I went to Virginia, watched the game, and I was like, oh, this is a great stadium. Like, this team's bad. Like, I always felt bad for bad teams. So I was like a Supersonics fan, a Bills fan, a Nationals fan. So, and they were competitive from 09 to 19. They won the World Series in 2019. And then now, ever since 2019, they've been absolutely terrible. What they're rebuilding. And I'm sitting here just like finding positives. Like, the defense has been outstanding, even though we're 0-3, or like the young pitching has got a lot of potential. And I just don't care because I still got my Juan Soto World Series championship jersey. Yeah. I still got my 2019 championship hat. I'm just sitting there like, it'll come back, So if the Bills win the Super Bowl and then they stink for 5 years, I'll just be sitting there like, well, what are you gonna do? At least we
got one.
Yeah,
we got one.
Yep.
Exactly.
It feels so much better when you have one. So like I said, in the Capitals too. I mean, they got theirs a couple of years ago, and they're always in contention too. So, but if we get one, I can be happy for a very long time.
Just give me one. I have a shirt that says "Just give me one." That's all we need.
Exactly. But now it's time for the mock draft simulator fun that we got planned. We're going to do it live on our phones, rounds 1 through 4, and let's do the fun round first, where you can make like a stupid trade to trade up in the draft. So we're going to do it on our own time, and it's pretty quick. So then once we're done, we'll just say we're done, and then we'll see what we came up with.
Okay.
Are we all doing our own, or are we going to let you do yours first? And
we can just do them all right now, and then once we're all done, we'll just chat it up.
All right.
Okay.
So this is going to be the fun one?
Yes.
Okay.
Holy shit. So I'm trying to get the first overall pick. I did this year's first round pick, 2023's first round pick, 2024's first, second, third, and fourth, and it's only a 24% chance of a trade.
Wow.
So that's insane. So I guess I'm not gonna try to do that one then. I'll do a more realistic one. Ooh, not accepted. All right, screw it. Ooh,
this is going to be really interesting.
It's my buddy comes in. Typical Bills fan. Can we talk about what would happen if the Bills win a Super Bowl? Don't talk about it. Go Hawks.
Well, hey, now, so you want to talk about a team that, originally, so you have a team that won a Super Bowl, right? And now, you trade Russell Wilson away. And now you have Drew Lock and Jacob Eason as your quarterbacks. So
well, he's also make fun of me. He's also he's from Tennessee, so he always says tighten up.
Oh,
okay. I saw that early on in the chat. I was
he's got his backup to tease me.
Well, they have a Super Bowl, so he can talk it. He can talk that talk right now, so it's allowed. But so yeah, I have a question. How did he become a Seahawks fan if he's from Tennessee? Are you telling me that the fan base down there in Nashville, Tennessee, isn't as big as we thought it was?
I never actually asked him that. I've known him for like 5 years now. I never even asked him.
Okay.
Can you tell us?
Bills Mafia did overtake that stadium. My dad was actually at the last game there in Nashville, and it looked like an awful lot of Bills fans. The ratio there, I think it was like 60-40 at least.
It's Bills weird though too, because it's not like the Titans are a bad team, and like the fans would be like, "Oh, they suck, so I don't care about them."
Yeah,
but they're a good team, and they still get beat in their own stadium.
Although I will say I do love Will Compton and Taylor Lewan. I mean, the Bussin' with the Boys podcast, the stuff that those guys have done is tremendous. I love it.
Yeah. All right. I'm almost done with mine. Did you guys finish yours?
I'm still pitching a trade here.
Okay. I don't like the one I did, but I'll do another one after. But
I'm going to let you do the trades because I can't get any of mine accepted. I'm just going to go with the regular flow and pick the best player available.
You could force the trade too, Mike.
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't want
to do that.
That's a little cheating there.
It is.
I can't believe how much you had to give. You have to even give up to get 20% for the first overall pick.
It is insane.
I literally did this year's first round pick, 2 more first round picks, plus a second, third, and a fourth, and it was at 20%. I couldn't believe it. All right, well, so mine's done, and I got an overall grade of C, but 3 of my picks were B. So what I did was I traded this year's 25 pick, a first round pick, and a second for the Giants' number 5 pick.
Okay.
And I took Ahmad Gardner at number 5.
Thank you. That's what I was trying to do.
But the weird thing, Thibodeau was still available.
Oh,
so I was like, do I take him or get Sauce? But I know we don't really need an edge.
Right.
But I was like, he could play linebacker though.
Yeah.
But we definitely need a corner. So I went with him.
What was the trade again?
Was number 25, first round pick next year, and then a second round pick.
Okay. Wow. So you're sacrificing 2 first rounders and a second rounder, but you're getting potentially. I mean, this guy, he played at Cincinnati. We're not going to downgrade Cincinnati. They played against some really good competition this year. He is a stud prospect. I would love to get him too. I think I like the move. I'm okay with that. My
buddy actually said a cool stat. He's actually never given up a touchdown in his career playing football ever. So
that's amazing, isn't it?
So that's pretty cool.
Yep.
And
Mike, real quick too, Sean. Mike had asked me why he has the nickname Sauce. So it was given to him by his youth football coaches for his interest in using a ton of different dipping sauces whenever he would eat food. So they called him Sauce from a young age. So I
love that.
Yep.
And then with number 57, I went with so the Sauce Gardner pick was a B-, apparently. But then I went with Brian Asamoah from Oklahoma.
Okay.
Which was also a B-. Then with pick 89, I took Marcus Jones, a cornerback from Houston. That was a C. And then with the last pick in the 4th round, we did 4 rounds, I took Lecitus Smith. I don't know how to and that was a B- also, and he's a guard. So those are my normal ones. I thought it was, got 2 corners, linebacker, guard, hit some needs. Maybe I'm going to do another one now where I don't trade up and see who I would get at 25. But so overall, I got a C-. And then for the trade, they gave it a D grade. I don't know if that means like for the Giants or for me or overall, but I don't know. I feel like they were kind of harsh on me. But
sounds like
my
it.
friend said He said he stopped being a Titans fan when Dale died in 01, but he was born in 2000. So I don't.
Oh, wow.
He's gonna say no. I was born in '99, but he was really.
Oh,
born
that's
in 2000.
hilarious. I love it.
All right, so I'm gonna redo this without trading up. When you guys are done, just pop your head up and you can go ahead.
Okay.
Ooh, this is okay.
All right, well, I guess I can go because I didn't do any trades. I was just like, but I
go
did
for it.
change it up because I know who I want to focus on if this was the Bills' real draft, but since I'm playing around a little bit, I did something a little different. So at 25, Treylon Burks was available, and I took him. I'm like, absolutely. Can you imagine Treylon Burks with Diggs, with Davis? I mean, with McKenzie, unstoppable. This is a physical presence we don't have. I got an A- with him. Great. I got off to a decent start. The next guy they failed me on, which I'm kind of surprised. I went back to corner in the second round because this is where I think we're actually going to draft in the first round. But I took a risk, and the risk may not have paid off for me. Tariq Woolen was available, who I think should be better than an F. They gave me an F on this guy.
Really?
That's terrible. Yeah,
I'm actually surprised about that.
They must still have the pre-draft rankings from like January, Mike.
Wow.
And then I went who I thought was a guard, at least that's what PFF was telling me, but now they tell me they're center, Donovan West from Arizona State, C+, and then halfback Kyron Williams in the fourth round at a C+ from Notre Dame.
Awesome.
I love that pick. I love that pick, by the way.
What they give you overall?
Overall, let's see here. Where's my overall? Overall is a C+. What did you actually get on your, Sean?
A C-.
Okay.
I think, right?
Even with my F, I did a little better than you. What's up with that?
I don't know. So I just did another one where I didn't trade at all. So at 25, Ajabo was still available. And I know he's hurt, but I was like, he's not going to be there in round 2. So I picked him anyway. Got a B. And then Asamoah was available again at 57. So I took him, B-. Then I went Kirby Joseph, safety at 89, which was an A- pick. And I think, he probably could play some corner too. From what I heard a little bit about him, I didn't really do too much research on him, but I did hear he could play both safety and corner pretty well. And then I took Smith from Virginia Tech again at guard in the 4th round for a B- with an overall grade of B.
Not bad. Not bad, sir.
So what's this trade you're doing?
It's not happening. I tried 1,000 different times. I tried, getting a little more value, and I was trying to trade with the Panthers. So we're a pick away. But I was trying to trade, instead of 2 first-round picks, I was thinking Tremaine Edmonds. Then I tried Jordan Poyer. I know. I'm sorry. Listen, we got 2 safeties that our coaches are very high on, and Jaquan Johnson and then DeMar Hamlin. So they are very viable replacements. I know you can't replace an all-pro like him, but it was just a thought. I put it out there. So I'm not doing it. I ended up taking Andrew Booth with our first pick. And then in the second round, so I went corner. And then second round, Mike, I went corner again, and I took Tariq Woolen. So I took 2 corners. And the reason why I got this idea, actually, shout out to my brother-in-law who was in he was in a booth, actually, Andrew Booth. He was in a booth for the Sabres game for Rick Jenneret night. It was 2 weeks ago. And in the booth was Vic Carucci, who is, a very interesting story with Vic Carucci. My dad and me, we went to this show, and it was like a post-Bills season analysis show. And it was before we had Stephon Diggs. It was actually when we lost to the Texans in the playoffs. And, it was kind of before we really made our strides. It was like our first year of really feeling good about Josh. And we were thinking, like my dad and I, we were on the side of thinking that we need another receiver. We need another weapon. And Vic Carucci really wrote that off. He's like, I don't think it's the right thing to do. And then, of course, we go out and get Stephon Diggs. So I don't know how much trust I have in Vic anymore, but I do agree with this idea. And I think it's kind of an interesting idea. He's very high. Apparently, my brother-in-law talked to him. He said he's very high on taking 2 corners back to back. So, and apparently some sources, quote unquote sources, are saying that the Bills would be maybe interested in doing something like that. So I took that approach for this, and I took 2 back-to-back, 2 first-round talents, and that's what I roll with. And then in the 3rd round, I took David Bell, receiver out of Purdue, who I think is a first-round talent. I think he's unbelievable. This guy is one of the most pro-ready receivers in the class. Mike, I know you guys were talking about him the other day. You and Chris, and I love him. I think his stock is right up there. His production is there. He's just a very polished football player. So if we can get a chance at him, I think that guy would be phenomenal. And then in the 4th round, I took DeMarco Jackson, who's a linebacker out of Appalachian State. I think the Bills have had a visit with him already, and I think he could be a really nice addition to the team. And depending on what happens with Tremaine, I mean, he could be a good filler for him. So that's what I went with. Overall draft grade was a B-. So not great. The Tariq Woolen, I got an F on that too, Mike. Okay. So every other pick was a B or a B+.
They must think he's like a 3rd or 4th round pick.
Which is insane because I've seen him as high as, a late 1st round. So it's really interesting. And
initially, that's where people were seeing him 3rd and 4th round. But after his combine, he's been shooting up the boards. And I don't know, maybe PFF hasn't updated their site or something, but people are talking about this guy all over. So I don't know what that's all about. Maybe they're judging it against what they think our needs are.
Yeah, it could be that too.
But yeah, I got an F as well. What was your overall grade?
I got a B-.
Okay.
It's not terrible, but I think the F grade really brought that down. It would have been probably B+ or an A-.
Well, Big Al's making me sad. Epineza, number 25 and a 2nd round pick next year for Sauce.
I would love that. I hate to say that, but
I would have to.
It's obvious you love AJ, so talk about that a little bit. Let's get that out of your system. Let's maybe help you out. Let's have some therapy here.
I got so much. Belief in him, and they even said last year he was, out of all defensive linemen, he was the fastest off the ball in the entire league, and he's got so much potential in him. So I'm not ready to let go of him really, but I mean I think in this situation you might have to. And then your friend Tim said he could see him trading for Kyle Hamilton over Sauce, but all the drafts I've just done, they got Kyle Hamilton going number 2 every time. So I just don't see anybody.
So his stock has dropped a little bit from what I've seen. They're saying maybe potential. I mean, they have him going as late as like 12 now, which is insane. Because I agree. I mean, most of the drafts that I have seen in the past, I would say a month ago, everyone was having him go within the first 3 picks. But now they saw his 40 time, and they're worried about that, which is insane. I think you value instinct over 40 time as a safety. Tim and I were talking about this earlier. But I wouldn't mind that either. That would be, I mean, that is a ball player right there. But then brings into question, what do you do with Jordan Poyer? Do you get rid of him? Do you move on from him? Do you make a trade? So
that's why I think like I would love to have Jordan for 3 years, but a guy like Hamilton will be expected to play starting his first year. So it's like, do you really want him sitting on the bench for 2 years while Poyer, grooms him, and then, Poyer decides to retire.
Right.
So that's what they have to decide. Do you want to keep Jordan Poyer all pro, get him a ring, or move on and trade up for this guy?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a decision they got to make. And the last one I did was I got Booth at 25, which was a B. And then I got Kirby Joseph in the 2nd round this time, which was a D. It was an A in the 3rd round, but a D in the 2nd round. Then in the 3rd round, I got Khalil Shakir.
I like that.
Which was an A.
Yep.
And then I took Smith again round 4. So I think all that's telling me is that if we don't take Smith from Virginia Tech at 4, then something's wrong, because it's been lined up in the stars. He's been the best player available in round 4 every time I drafted. So, or for needs too. So, and that was a B- for an overall grade of B-. So, I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, I wouldn't be mad about that.
Yeah, so it sounds like we all have a common theme here. Let me ask you guys, like, 1st round pick this year. I mean, I'm sold that they're going corner. But I have said, and I want to throw this at you, Sean, it's your show. If a talent like Treylon Burks is there, because the receiving class is stacked this year, and you can probably get some decent receivers in the 2nd, even the 3rd round. I feel this young kid Christian Watson that we did. Chris opened my eyes on this kid a couple days ago when we did the show. He's out of North Dakota State's 22, 6'4", 208, and runs a 4.36. And he's actually looking like he might go early 3rd. But it's so stacked. But if you had a stud like that, Treylon Burks in the 1st round, Would you stick to your guns, say, no, we need a corner and we're going to stick with it and let that guy go? Because I do feel the corners are so important, because you've seen what's happened in the AFC. It's loaded. It is absolutely loaded with receiver studs. You got to have some corners to keep up. Jake, I know you said you can help those corners by having the Von Miller and the pass rush and getting to those guys, but I don't know, man. I was just kind of looking at we play Kansas City, which we know we lost. They lost one of their key guys there on receiver. But we got Devontae Adams, Minnesota we play against, great receiver there with Jefferson. So we're going to be playing a lot of these studs. Play the Rams at the end of the year. Going to have some corners. But back to the question, Sean. You going to stick to your guns, or you going to, man, because you can see it, right? This type of guy with Josh Allen, unstoppable.
Yeah, I mean, I like to say, you got to stick with defense just because we do got a lot of weapons already. But like you said, there's a talent like that, because we're still trying to fill, we have good great receivers, but we're still also, I feel like we're lacking a little bit. I like McKenzie hasn't had that full-time role yet. Right. Gabe Davis hasn't actually been a wide receiver 2 yet. So I still think, we got a hole to fill, but I also wouldn't be shocked, because Brandon Beane even said, we're always looking for defensive linemen, so don't be shocked if we always go D-line. Like,
oh gosh.
So I wouldn't I wouldn't even be surprised if Jordan Davis is there at 25, if he takes Jordan Davis or
Jordan Davis is a different story, though. That's different, Sean. If that guy dropped to 25, I think
you have to.
You got to take him.
No chance is he going to be there. I mean, but if he is
projected.
Well,
top 15
after the combine, top 10, top 15 for sure. What a beast he was in the combine. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I like him, but like you said, I think it's well known that corner is the most important. But I also wouldn't be shocked if a generational talent at wide receiver was there, or Jordan Davis was there, that they would shy away from corner. Also, here's the other thing: if they don't trade up to get like Sauce or anything, and it's at 25, and there's still a few good corners on the board, they might be able to be like, oh, you know what? I think there's a lot of good options in round 2 for corner. Let's get this, let's get Burks at 25. Mm-hmm. And then we still can get this guy at number 57. So I guess it's all going to depend on who's gone already. Like if they feel like if we don't take a corner this round, then we're going to be shit out of luck. Like I don't like the round 2 or 3 corners. We got to take number 25 with someone else. But if there's a lot of them available still, I can see him maybe taking a wide receiver of that talent.
Yeah, I took that risk at 25 in my mock draft with Burks, and the only one really was Tariq Woolen, which I think is a good play, but he's not. I mean, he needs a lot of work, and how much he can contribute day one, I don't know. So it was a little bit of risk. I think we're going to need to go corner. I think who's it? Your dad's out there, Big L, saying you better get a good cornerback, big time passing this next season. Absolutely.
He also said pay Poyer.
Well,
let's not upset Poyer and his wife by drafting a safety.
Yeah.
Hopefully they watch this.
We're going to be coming back to your show, Sean, and hitting you up on Twitter and giving you a lot of bad stuff.
Yeah. So we do know that I can get under Andre Roberts' skin.
Andre Roberts, man. Yeah, you're on his
once you
list,
started,
man.
Once you've got under one player's skin, it's just going to
I thought about just
domino effect.
Messaging him every day and just like saying something bad about him, and then eventually just be like, are we like best friends now? Just gonna talk crap every day.
Yeah.
You want to come down and visit?
I mean, Jake, what do you think?
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, did Jake answer about the cornerback situation?
Oh yeah, go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, so I am more on the side of taking a corner. But I did have a couple conversations earlier. As I was saying, my buddy Tim was over. We talk football nonstop. This is all we do. And he came up with some good points, and he said, you can really get away with having a lack of depth at corner. And we already have a couple guys that have proven that they can play. I think Dane Jackson is a fine prospect. I think he's a good football player. I don't know if he's the answer there. And I know, Trey White is going to be coming back from the major knee injury. And as a corner, I mean, the knee injury is something to definitely not bat an eye at, because I think he did every single ligament. I think he did PCL, MCL, and ACL, which is a lot. And I think out of any position, corner is probably the toughest to recover with an injury like that for specifically. So I do worry a little bit, and I am still on the side of taking a corner, but I think you can get away with it. And if there's a playmaker there, you really have to make a hard decision and think about taking that guy instead and maybe taking a corner in the second. You can build on that. I think there's guys that are going to be available in the second round that still maybe have a first round grade on them, or, going back with the whole trade thing. Maybe we don't make a trade in the first round. I think we definitely probably will move up in the second round if we don't do something. So that is always an option too. We could still get a really good value player in the second round if we don't go corner in the first. But I did do another mock draft here, and I took my guy Kyer Elam with the first pick.
Love that.
Nice.
A corner out of Florida, good size, great bloodlines. Abram Elam is his dad, played for the Browns, bounced around the league a little bit. His uncle, which is so weird because he's only 31, Matt Elam, played for the Ravens. He was a first-round pick for them, and now he's playing in the CFL. Kind of a bust, actually. He was okay, but I think injuries really got in the way of him having a really good career in the NFL. So I took him in the first round. Second round, I went linebacker. I went with Troy Anderson, who I believe he ran the fastest 40 out of all the linebackers there at the combine. He ran a 4.42, Montana State, small school kid, but his size is he's like almost 6'4", 243. So you're talking, you're not exactly Tremaine Edmonds size, but a guy that is, potentially, can play that position. And I think his IQ will really help him play at a high level in the league. So I think that's one of my sleepers, actually. So I feel good about maybe taking him in the second round, especially at 57. I'm not worried with that. That's, basically third round. And then for the third round pick, I took David Bell again, receiver out of Purdue. If he's there, I think you got to take a guy like that. I love him so much.
He's like Smith for me, for you.
Yeah, for me, it's David Bell. For you, yes, exactly. And then in the fourth round, I took Kyron Williams, running back out of Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So and then I got a C+ on this one though, so I'm a little rattled about it.
So I took it when Mike told me we were doing this. I thought we were just gonna do them previously and then talk about them. So I did this one where I traded for number 5 pick, but still kept number 25.
Oh,
so
wow!
I was able to get Gardner. I traded the Giants a round 6 pick, round 1 in 2023, and a round 1 in 2024. And so I got Gardner. I got Booth at 25.
Wow.
So Gardner and Booth both.
Wow.
And then I got Asamoah 57, like I do oftentimes. 89, I got JoJo Duman from Nebraska, linebacker. Okay, yep. And then who do you think I took it around for?
Your boy.
Yeah. So
La Tech.
Yeah. So that was a B- grade somehow overall, but I thought it was cool to get both Gardner and Booth in the same. But that would never happen, I don't think. But
never say never, and F them picks, man.
Yeah, I thought it was that was a good one.
That's awesome. Wow.
Before we wrap it up here, your friend Tim said we don't value corners. They had a slow undrafted free agent and a 7th round pick starting at the end of the year, and they did pretty well. And yeah, we're all Levi Wallace fans here. It stinks to see him go, but I think there's some truth to that. But I think also sometimes, as leaders of a team, you got to step outside the box and be like, oh, we may not really have a value on corner, but maybe we need to actually have that to get where we want to be. And then Big Al says, watch out for Miami Dolphins receivers. Very, very fast. Need the CBs and the safety to really perform well. And that's also got a lot of truth to it as well. I mean, they had everyone but Tyreek Hill last year and Cedric Wilson. So, I mean, we know we played against Waddle, and he's really fast. But now when you got both of them together, then it gets even more difficult. But we got to hang our the hope on. We have a very powerful defense, hopefully number 1 again. And Tua is still developing. This is basically his last year to prove if he's a good player, because now he's got no excuse. He's got Waddle and Hill and Gesicki. And, you signed Armstead at left tackle. So, there's no excuse for Tua now. But I think, we're going to be able to take them both at times again this year. But definitely going to be difficult, especially because speed kills. So
I'm not worried about underneath speed. Although that's easier said than we saw what happened in the championship game. Tyreek Hill underneath, takes to the house.
Can I chime in with something real quick? I just
Absolutely.
want to. So the Bills undervalue corners. I don't think they can do that anymore, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm looking at the schedule here. Right, we play the Ravens, we play the Bengals, we play the Lions, we play the Dolphins twice, we play Cleveland, play Pittsburgh, Green Bay, Minnesota. This is our final. They don't have the gates yet, but Green Bay, Minnesota, Tennessee, Kansas City, and the Rams. I mean, you can't. It's like I went dark here again.
What happened to my...
You can hear me though,
It's
right?
a sign, Mike. It's a sign.
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, this should come on in a second there, hopefully. If not, you can hear me talk. And by the way, so I'm making the call of the year. So as far as corner goes, maybe we don't have to draft a corner because this is a guy I'm predicting is going to get on the field and make some plays. And I'm going to give you a little hint. I think it's a sign. Jake would know this. I met him last year at my son's flag football game. His uncle performed at the Super Bowl. You guys know who that was?
Oh yeah, the regulators.
Dr. Dre, who's
Dr. Dre,
brothers with Warren G. Right?
Yep.
And son of Warren G is Elijah Griffin, who spent all year last year on our practice squad.
I like him.
4-star recruit to USC. He was their shutdown corner there, and he's been able to practice with our great offensive team all last year. They re-signed him again for a future contract. So
yeah, that's 2 years.
That's my pick right there. So watch out for Elijah Griffin.
I love that, Mike. I love it.
Like that.
How about Cam Lewis, man? He's so
yeah, possible.
He's training.
That's the thing. We got a lot of young corners that can do it.
Oh wait, what is that? Your gym?
Yeah. Actually, this is my brother's hand me up. So he was working out there, training for football and stuff. And I used to work out there many moons ago and train for football and stuff. But now I'm old. I'm just trying to keep the dad bod in decent shape, right? But so this is a shirt that he gave me, and I was wearing it today. I'm like, I'll go on the show with it, and I talk about it a little bit at the gym. So I'm gonna mention it to Ben. Shout out to Ben Woods. But a couple Bills players are training in the facility. Tyrell Dotson, Cam Lewis,
really,
a couple others. Yeah, and it's pretty cool. You get to see them. They usually come in like right after I leave, and they're kind of in like their own special group and whatnot. But yeah, so it's cool to see those guys work out every day. Like they're starting to get they're stretching in and all that, and they're getting after it. So high hopes.
Yeah, I think we're gonna be just fine. But guys, thank you a lot for coming on the show. It was long time overdue. Definitely got to do a couple more shows before the season starts. And we could probably do another one before draft time. And then after draft, we could do that too, to talk about what we thought of the rounds and, go from there. Because I love doing content with you. It's always a good time. I think the people love it. They should love it. And if you haven't followed Nickel City Mafia yet, definitely go do that. And, you guys want to say your goodbye piece? We can start with you, Mike.
Well, I don't want to stop talking. I want to keep going. There's so much built up. And I think I did have one question. Jerry Hughes, he's not signed yet. What do you think is going to happen? We're going to be able to get him cheap? And, what's your thoughts? Real quick. I'm sorry we were wrapping it up, but I wanted to ask you that before we wrapped up.
I don't know. I feel like they might sign him, but we got so much, a lot of mouths to feed on the defensive line. So that's one of the tough decisions.
It'd have to come cheap, right? It'd have to come cheap.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough decision that they got to make. But I mean, I wouldn't mind keeping him.
Yeah.
I think he had a surgery, so there was something along the lines of that. He had an injury that he was recovering from in the offseason, so that maybe teams are shying away from that. But I think he does want to stay in Buffalo if he can. So he seemed to love it here, So I think if we could sign him to a minimum deal, why not? We'll take it.
He's always looks great on PFF. If you just look at his numbers on PFF,
I know.
Like,
Pressure's always right there.
But if you watch our games, you're like, he's always chasing guys down the field.
Yeah.
Anyhow, Sean, I just want to say thanks again. It was fun, and we greatly appreciate you bringing this on.
Yes, thank you, man.
Acting up today, but thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, it was my pleasure. Since we first met, we always had great times and great shows, and we're gonna keep bringing that. And one of these days, Jordan Poyer and
they'll be on the show.
Andre Roberts will come on the show, and then we'll
hash it out.
We'll be able to hang out and talk. But no, you guys do great content. Please, guys, if you haven't subscribed to them already, if you like golf and fantasy football and football in general, especially the Bills, definitely give them a follow. And then keep a lookout. We're going to keep doing content always. So this won't be the last time you see them.
That's right.
Sure.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for having us.
Of course. Absolutely. And like I said, guys, if you guys have any ideas for us for a show you want us to do, you could DM any of us, and then, we can do it on their channel, my channel. It doesn't matter. If you guys want to do I haven't done one in a while, but those live call-in shows, I think those are a good time where, I can bring up to 10 people on here. So,
that's cool.
We could have a big chat, question and answer, and then things like that. So we'll be in touch for sure.
Sounds good, man. I'm fired up about it. Can't wait.
Me too. It's Super Bowl year, so
that's right.
Wait until the season starts.
I know what we should do. We should do a draft react. We should be on live during the draft and have a reaction. So think about that, guys.
That would be something.
We're doing that. Let's do that.
All right.
I'll have to figure out how to get it on my laptop or something, but I'm definitely down for that. I'm going to hold you to that.
I'll be right over here. I got 4 TVs, every single TV's actually. So I got to negotiate a little bit, guys. It's mine and my wife's 4-year wedding anniversary that day.
Really?
And I knew this would come back to bite me. So we got married on day 3 of the NFL draft. And there are pictures of me, looking at my buddies' phones, my groomsmen phones, because they're showing me all the pics. I'm at the altar, right? And they're showing me all the pics.
Oh, no.
And everyone's like, oh, it's day 3. No one cares. No.
Wow.
That's where all your sleepers are, all right? So, this is big time. This is very serious.
That's funny.
But, yeah, so, I'll figure it out. It'll be good. We're going to do something the weekend before. It'll be all right,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll definitely go live then if you're able to. And then we'll just sit here and you could joke and it'll just be a free-for-all show, really, and see who the pick is. And then we'll just sit here and talk about them for however long. And then that'd be a good time. You guys,
we might be talking a little early on in draft day. There's a chance we move up. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
We saw what it took, though. That's a lot. That's a lot to move.
Yeah, you got to trade 50 picks to get their first overall pick.
Oh my gosh, crazy.
I know. But all right, guys, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet either, like, follow, share, hit the sub button for all of us here. We really care about all of our viewers, and we want to keep growing. So extend us to Bills Mafia, and we appreciate every single one of you. Until next time, go Bills. Let's get a Go Bills from you too.
Go Bills.
Have a great night, everybody.